On my radar is some Ozploitation. Well, not really Ozploitation because it's a little bit more artsy. But so I was on Shudder, which has become a favorite horror site of mine recently, and I had heard a lot about this movie called The Furies. This is an Australian filmed horror movie. This movie is about a couple of girls that wake up in the woods and they're being chased by these monsters. And the monsters, they're basically people with masks on. And they're very grotesque. And it's sort of throwbacks, like all the people with masks are sort of throwbacks to famous monster movie characters. Some of the monsters are assigned to protect them, and then the rest are assigned to kill them. So throughout the movie, these girls have to work together to defeat the monsters. Are these girls going to kill each other, or how are they going to get through this? And it's sort of like has feels of Friday the 13th. So it has a kind of 80s look to it. At the very beginning, you have this sort of soundtrack coming in.
It's fairly low budget. It's not. This is not a huge.
It's pretty low budget, but it's definitely pretty low budget, but it's pretty stylish too.
Yeah, in a good way.
It sort of reminds me of like Friday the 13th without any of the cheesy lines, without any of the love interest or like the teenagers that have sex and get killed by Jason. Nothing gets in the way of people getting slaughtered in this movie. So
no, it is. There's a particular scene where they got the guy, and there's a decapitation. It seemed like an achievable effect. Like it seemed like when they executed it, it was like that looks pretty good. There's definitely no CG involved here. But that's an achievable effect. If you gave me an afternoon and enough tools, I might figure out how to copy that. Probably not well. They did a really good job about it. But what I really liked about it is that there was tons of. They're all practical effects, pretty much.
Yeah.
The difference between CG and practical is like with CG, like I better not notice it. It better flow. Like that's the whole point. I don't want it to stand out. It's not bad. But with practical effects, those are the ones where I want to pause it and kind of go, how'd they do that? Like, I mean, I don't know. I used to do that all the time.
Practical effects, even if you're aware of the fact that they're practical, you're not like, I'm not taken out of the movie like I am with CGI. It's just, there's something about, there's more three-dimension quality to
a good practical effect makes you stop it and try to figure out how they did it. Because you can tell they actually did it. Yeah. I remember that from old Friday the 13th, like Tom Savini shit, where it was all practical and you'd actually be like, okay, how did they achieve that? And you'd stop it and do it, and you know those are when you used to cheer for it. The CG better make it flow, and I did appreciate that about this. It was well, I watched it on your recommendation, and no, it was pretty good. It's good effects, good practical effects. Clearly a low budget, but in a good way. Like the whole thing was pretty good. It was good. It's definitely, as an indie horror fan, it's worth the watch. So there's Brad's.
Well, what was cool is that they didn't try to be cheesy at all. They tried to actually be serious, and there was no comic relief in this movie whatsoever. No. And whenever somebody can pull that off, I'm impressed. Whenever they can make it work and pull it off, because a lot of times, sometimes the acting is going to fail on those points, but the actors they picked didn't really falter, and everything stayed consistent with the tone throughout. And the tone was pretty gruesome and then dramatic in some spots, but it ended up working for me, and that's my pick for the week, The Furies. Australian horror, and I look forward to more horror down under.
Yeah, there you go.